Okay, so what I want to talk about today is the cost of inaction. So the cost of inaction. And the reason why this is on my mind at the moment is it's one of the big problems and hurdles that comes up with all the conversations that I have with guys. And it's one that I struggled to get over as well, right? So the thing with adding something new to your plate when you're in the sort of position that a lot of dads are in at the moment, that I talk to anyway, and that I'm in, with young children, either a growing career or trying to smash it in their business, as well as, emptying the dishwasher every day, doing the kids' washing, picking up nursery runs, trying to be a good husband, trying to ring your parents, everything, right? The thought of adding something new into that, throwing something else in the mixer, sometimes it makes people feel physically sick. The thought of it just isn't comprehensible. And so we end up kicking a lot of things down the road. It doesn't seem urgent because there's not enough perceived space to actually fit some things in. And that's the automatic reaction, right? Like that's obvious. Like, wait for a time where there is space. But the reality is, like, we all know logically that time never comes, right? When you dodge some of the problems that you have at the moment, then there'll be some more. That's just the reality of the life that anyone that's aspiring to be this like idea of a deliberate dad has got to deal with. If you're pushing on all aspects of your life, your work, your relationship, your family, your health, trying to hit your potential across all aspects of your life, then you're going to encounter problems. That's a cost of pushing. The alternative is to not push, right? So you could do that. That's not what I want to do. I want to live a deliberate life and wring the most out of it. But this initial reaction is born through your evolution, right? Like, this is default thinking. This is survival mode. This is, let's not get kicked out of the cave or the pack, or else we'll get eaten by a fucking saber-toothed tiger. So you're not going to be able to outrun that, right? Like, that's going to happen. Your immediate thought is going to be like, why would I take something else on? Like, this is uncomfortable. And your mind craves that comfort. So what you've got to do is think more deliberately, right? Not necessarily take action on the first thought that pops into your mind, and rationally think about the potential longer term benefits that you would get from taking this action or adding this thing into your diary or into your calendar, or taking time, effort, energy to dedicate to it. Because your mind won't immediately think of that, right? All it thinks about is short-term comfort. It doesn't give a shit about your ambition. It doesn't give a shit if you want to have bigger arms. It doesn't give a shit if you want to develop yourself to be a better man, to be a better dad, to grow your business. Doesn't really care. All it thinks about is the moment. And like, we know this logically, right? So like, if I ask you, how do you get bigger arms in the gym? You go multiple times a week, and over time, you'll get the results. So there's some things that we can do it in, but we really struggle on a lot of aspects to see the long-term benefit in the short term. What is the way that we can frame this from a time perspective to make sure that we realize that we get the long-term benefits? And a really simple frame is looking at whether you're spending time or whether you're investing time. So my friend Sam, he runs a healthcare consultancy, and he came up with this idea about double bottom line brands. So focusing on the performance aspect for now, like that's short term, to sell their product, but then also brand building in the long term, right? Long term benefit, stronger brand, sell more products. Totally makes sense. Amazing guy. And I think this applies to time as well, right? So whether have time spent or we have time invested, and the time invested is double bottom line, right? So time spent is transactional. It's I spend this time and I get this one thing back. And we tend to look at our calendar and look at our diaries and go, I don't have any time. And you're treating it all as one sort of homogenous blob. Like this hour is equal to this hour is equal to this hour is equal to this hour. When that's not actually true, right? So time spent is quite transactional, right? It's like the equivalent of spending money and going in and scratching a scratch card. It's gone. That's the benefit. That's it done. Or it's clean your house. That's it. That's the benefit. That's it done. Whereas time invested is double bottom line, right? You get the enjoyment out of the experience now, but then also you're investing in some kind of outcome for the future. So a simple example of this would be if I spend time with my kids after work. I always spend dedicated time for a couple of hours when Pearl comes back from nursery. So Lenny's here, Pearl's back from nursery. So from 5 to 7:30 p.m., turn off my phones, put my work phone away, don't look at emails. That's dedicated time to them, right? I get the enjoyment of playing Gruffalo Double or playing rugby in the garden or getting them 142 snacks. Not so enjoyable. But I go to bed at night going, have I been a good dad today? Yeah, because I've defined those expectations in my mind. I've invested that time in them. So it gives me the short-term buzz, but also, right, that's invested in a relationship over the long term that will pay dividends. Do I believe truly that investing that time now will pay off in 20, 30 years? Will they call me? Will they, visit me? Will they want to go for a drink with me? Yeah, I totally think they will, right? Based on the fact of the time that I've invested in them now. But the cost of inaction is you don't get those returns if you don't start taking action. So the longer I kick some of these activities down the road, maybe, I'll just work Monday to Thursday, 5 to 7, because I'll be able to get more business in the next year. So therefore I'll have more money and we'll go on more holidays. So I have more space then. Maybe I'll invest in this business coach then once I've got some more time, some money, some more energy, because then I'll be in a better place to be able to do it. Oh, when the kids go to school, then I'll hire that PT, because then I'll have some more space, some more energy to be able to focus on it. Yeah, could be true, right? But your cost is that gap of inaction where you're not going to get those compound results. So even a super simple thing like my garden, right, out here, beautiful garden, I absolutely love it now. We planted some plants, we've got some landscaping done. But for the first 2 years of us living here, we thought as soon as we moved in, we should get rid of this wall here. We should put this back. We should plant some more because we want to spend time there in the summer. But we put it off, right? We'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. And didn't do anything for 2 years. The cost of inaction there was I wasn't able to spend time in the garden. I couldn't enjoy this like beautiful setting that I have now. It cost me 2 years worth of summer enjoyment from not making that decision in the short term, for not investing the time, effort, energy, and money, right, into it. Because we struggle to go, I can't add that in. I can't add that on top of my plate right now when we've just moved in. Could I? If I had have chosen and got rid of something else? Yeah, of course I could have. I'm making a choice. The cost of inaction is making a choice to choose something else ahead of the thing that you actually want to do, right? So if you've got something that's like bugging at the back of your mind going, when I've got more time, I'll do this, and it won't go away, I'd invite you to properly have a think about it and work out what is the cost of inaction from a experience perspective, from a relationship perspective, from a money perspective, right? From a time-saving perspective. What are the things that you've been putting off, been kicking the can down the road? What is it in the house with your relationships? In work, is it hiring that employee? Is it bringing in that agency? Is it hiring that coach? Whatever it might be. And I'd invite you to go, well, maybe we could give that a try, right? And see what results you get in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months' time. And if you're still struggling to go, you know what, Steve, this logically sounds absolutely amazing, But in practice, genuinely, like, I just don't have any time. So I've actually created a little tool. It's called the Default Detox Blueprint. And it's made up of a couple of different parts, a 3-step process that'll take you 30 minutes, that will save you time. It's all linked in the comments below. And all you have to do is it'll identify your time leaks. You then put those leaks into GPT, which will then give you a list of actions that you're able to take, whether you can eliminate, export, or enhance that specific task, that time spent. And then we'll give you a list of actions to take that we can have a chat about after if you want to book a time investment blueprint call. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'd love to know your thoughts on, this idea of time spent versus time invested and any actions you might take. If this has been useful, please share it and subscribe, and I'll catch you next week. Cheers.